I can't believe that we have moved on to yet another season. It's just flying by like crazy.
Same here. I clicked on that season 7 folder and I was yeah, we're here already.
The tone shifts even in that opening, that cold open with George and his girlfriend. It feels different.
Yeah, no stand up, no just a guy and a girl playing chess.
Well, before we get into this week's episode, figured we could just talk about season 7 as a whole. It's a landmark season in a lot of ways. We get some big characters. Like I was thinking Jackie Childs.
Yeah,
he's a big one. A soup Nazi. That's like a pop culture icon.
I'm familiar with his work. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Not to mention like Jean Paul, Stan the Caddy,
those are some those are some fan favorites right there.
Mm-hmm. And a character we just met last season, Peterman in the finale. He really comes into his own.
Oh yeah, we get a lot of Peterman material. As the new Elaine job will start this season, so we get to see her working for Peterman, which is going to be cool.
Mm-hmm. But Vinny, what would you say, just your opinion here, that season 7 is best known for?
I think hands down, people think of this is the engagement season. So this is the arc with George and Susan becoming engaged, right?
There's only 2 arcs, I would argue, in all of Seinfeld.
Mm-hmm.
There's the pilot arc, and then there's the engagement arc.
Correct.
Right, and it's funny if you combine seasons 1 and 2 into their own season, since they're so short.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting how the pilot and those arcs are basically like 2 seasons removed from the beginning and end. Does that make sense? I don't know. It just seems like it's really evenly distributed because I always thought like every season has some sort of arc, right? But they really don't.
Well, in a sense, yes, but then also you could argue that, well, this is the season where George works for the Yankees, or this is the season where Elaine works for Mr. Pitt. So there's like little threads that connect the episodes, but I guess it's just what the characters happen to be doing or working with their. This is the season where George moved in with his parents, but specifically season 4 with the pilot arc and then season 7 with the engagement. Those are very much the like through line through the season. So yes.
And I think this arc gets the most attention. That might be because just Susan's presence is like a reminder of that arc. Remember back in season 4, you had to hear a character say, "Oh yeah, we have to write the pilot," or "Oh, we're not working on the pilot this week. We're taking it's a throwaway line." Whereas here, just Susan's very presence is like, "Oh my God, this guy's getting married."
Oh, and a lot of storylines will come from this arc with George meeting the parents, the Costanzas meeting the Rosses. So almost every episode is going to factor in. Including the finale of season 7 with this engagement.
Yes, the infamous finale. In addition to the engagement arc, I'd say the season is maybe not known like on a mainstream level, but it is Larry David's last season. And I think amongst Seinfeld fans, you're very aware of that because the show will really change in seasons 8 and 9. I think like tonally, the characters change. I think the look of the show even changes, the rhythm.
Yeah.
And I thought, this episode, we should talk about, the reasons why Larry left and what it was like when he left. But at the start of the season, when it started filming in August of 1995, Larry didn't really know he was leaving. There's sort of this funny joke between him and Jerry, like every season he wanted to leave. Like, this is it.
Yeah, that was customary for him to say, "I'm done, I don't want to do it anymore." And meanwhile, Jerry would always have in the back of his mind, he would talk Larry into staying. He'd say, "Okay, let's get through the season and then we'll just see what happens at the end." So as we'll learn, once again, Jerry had the same feeling. We're going to get through the season and I'll talk Larry into staying for an additional season.
Right. And that kind of, conversation didn't come up until I think Jerry says episode 13 or 14. So more than halfway through this season, which I think is probably a better time to talk about the reasons why Larry left and what it was like, how it affected the cast and crew. For right now, Larry's in this till the end. I don't think his, decision to leave affected how he ran this season or necessarily why he chose the engagement arc. I guess there's sort of the theory that if the show were to have a final season, it would end with George getting engaged.
Yeah, I think the thinking was if we are going to end the series, how do we kind of give some sort of conclusion or finality to this show? It's having one of the members get engaged to break up what brings this foursome together. Out of all the seasons, this was Larry David's attempt to bring the show to a close by creating this engagement storyline.
Right, but by no means, it's not like he was, I don't know, like killing off all the characters or blowing up the city. Like everything can continue on.
Of course.
It's just, as we'll get into actually here with trivia, how do you resolve this engagement arc? If George isn't going to get married and move off, and the group disbands, how the hell is this going to go?
We're minor celebrities. We've broken through.
You've experienced this, haven't you? Like at the gym, like someone will be like, yeah, listen to Seincast. And you're like,
I did, but it was very humbling because he's like, I used to listen to it. He doesn't listen anymore. So I had a big dose of reality right there.
That happened at trivia once where a guy was like, have you heard this podcast called Seincast? And I'm like, no, tell me about it. Just waiting to see if he was going to say something really negative about one of us. I just wanted to get that honest impression. I wish we could have some commentary on the rabbi character. Just looking at him as Avi put it, like just not a very funny character and not a character really grounded in reality. I can see not caring for this character very much. I feel like when we were discussing last week's episode, I was sort of looking at him as, oh, he's an old friend of Larry's, and this is kind of like an homage to what Larry and Bruce Mailer used to do on Fridays. So looking at it more objectively, I think Avi makes some good points. He's really kind of wacky in the Seinfeld universe.
I think we appreciate the story and the history behind, like you said, Bruce Mailer and the character, the rabbi, his connection to Larry and Fridays, more so than the actual character. Because, when Avi breaks it down, I agree, he's not that funny, and he's really just a over-the-top version of a rabbi, and an unfunny one at that. So
and literally a character from another TV show just kind of dropped in Seinfeld.
Yeah, it's like if they took the church lady out of Saturday Night Live and then plunked her down into the conversion episode.
We got a great email here from Ami. He said, guys, I can't believe you didn't bring up the fact that the whole concept of the security guard not having a chair was the premise of the one Larry David skit that he got on the air when he was a writer on SNL.
I'm kicking myself because the whole reason we do this podcast is to learn about the tidbits and the behind-the-scenes stuff that goes on in the Seinfeld world. And this is as big as it gets, and we totally screwed up. Because we watched it, and Harry Shearer was in it.
Yes.
And it wasn't a very funny skit, but we were like, oh, this is Larry David writing,
Ed Begley Jr. I forget who the third guy is. I know Christopher Guest plays the elevator operator.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a very bizarre skit. It's the one that aired at 12:55 a.m. And as Ami mentioned there, it's the only one that pretty much aired during Larry's time there.
Uh-huh.
And it has to do with, should an elevator operator be sitting or standing? Curb Your Enthusiasm Season 9 started filming this past, I think Wednesday, November 9th was the official start date. This is very exciting. I know some of our listeners still haven't given Curb a chance. In fact, we've heard from a few listeners that have given it a chance and don't like it.
Hated it, which is okay.
Totally. I mean, I think
Still love you.
It's like this. If you love Seinfeld, I think it's very likely you'll like Curb. If you love Curb, you'll love Seinfeld.
Yeah, the transitive properties are not quite all there. Yeah, it's more likely that if you like Curb, you'll love Seinfeld. But I think most people start from Seinfeld, migrate to Curb. But I think it's hit or miss, though, because my parents, not big Curb fans.
Really?
Yeah, because there's too much arguing, too much yelling, and it's become this thing now of, set up, argument, Larry's the asshole, dun, 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 dun. So it's kind of proceeded to that. But I still love it, and I look forward to it every year.
The new national anthem, right?
Oh, yes.
Well, HBO posted a video sort of promoting the new season of JB Smoove outside of Larry David's trailer on the street somewhere in LA. He really has become like Larry's sidekick on the show.
He's the George to his Jerry.
Right. Yeah, fantastic. And I'm so glad we got to see him live years ago. This was even before, I think, season 7.
I mean, we saw him because he was Leon from Curb, but I think it was maybe after just one season, but we were so excited to see somebody from the Curb.
For sure. All right, let's move on to some voicemails.
Towards the end, when it first shows John Paul jogging kind of over the little hill, you can see the filming rig in the shot with them, and the next scene is the angle from the filming rig.
I actually noticed that shot that Tyson's referring to, and I had that same thought, and then I said, well, maybe it could be construed as like the people that film the marathons. You know, they're running alongside the runners, but it absolutely is the film crew. So good pickup by Tyson there.
Right. So this is the shot when Jerry, Kramer, and Elaine are on the sidelines, and Elaine's like, oh, here they come, and there's that wide shot. I thought the same thing you did, Vinny, but it eventually cuts to that footage, that angle of Jean-Paul. So most definitely is the Seinfeld film crew.
The magic of television. This is how it's done.
For sure. Another email here comes from Josh Connolly in Houston, Texas. I believe The Independent George would have been a much better title for the Pool Guy episode. And further, I believe each character should have had one episode as an ode to their character name, which I thought was really interesting. Something about Jerry's name works because there's so many, like, you know, the Bizarro Jerry, the Little Jerry. You know, there's so many of those. Yeah.
Gorgeous George.
Yeah, the Gorgeous George. But anyways, interesting little thought. Maybe we could get the creative juices flowing between episodes. Got a voicemail to play here.
When Kramer is getting ready to slide down the fireman's pole, there are two fire chiefs. One, the fire chief that just yelled at Kramer to stay out. There's another voice. I think it's Larry David.
So I don't know. There's a lot going on there. I don't hear exactly what he's saying, but there's some part of Larry's voice that I just kind of hear, you know, in the scene.
Yeah, it's like a quality, but I'm not sold. There's not enough evidence to overturn the call.
Right.
If this was a sports analogy.
But I think we're leaning towards yes, just in the sense that, you know, if it's a random voice and it sounds like Larry, it's very likely Larry.
That's a good point. We always had the debate of the guy with the cane in the coffee in the bakery.
That's a horrible one.
Sorry. So it might be. It's not like overwhelmingly Larry for me, but so I would lean towards no.
Okay.
But because given his track record of, you know, having these random bits of audio appear in the show, it's plausible.
All right. Well, I'll split the difference. I'll say yes. Vinny. Guess who came up with a list of the 100 greatest TV shows of all time?
Mick Jagger.
No. Rolling Stone magazine.
Close enough.
Yes. Rolling Stone has a history with Seinfeld. You know, they graced the cover. Remember there's like the leather daddy.
Yeah, I remember that one. There's also the Wizard of Oz.
Another classic. I would have loved to get those like high-res images.
It'd be nice to have them framed, to be honest with you.
Like no text, just the cast. They're fantastic. Rolling Stone, I don't know if it was the magazine or the website, probably the website, came up with a list of the 100 greatest TV shows of all time. Thanks to all of our listeners for sending in this list. Don't worry, we're not going through all 100. We just wanted to mention that Seinfeld made the list. Number 5.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Not good enough out of all time, Vinny.
No.
All time.
They must be first. They must be liked by everybody.
All right. Well, the shows that beat Seinfeld were Mad Men at number 4, Breaking Bad at number 3, The Wire at number 2, and drum roll, please. Sopranos at number 1.
All right. That's fine.
Okay. You know, this whole list, actually, the top 10, the top 20, it reminded me a lot of a WGA list that came out a couple of years ago. That's the Writers Guild of America, where they had like the exact same TV shows, just reshuffled.
Okay.
On their list, Seinfeld came in at number 2.
See, now we're talking.
Number 2. Sopranos was still number 1, but fantastic list. It's a lot of fun just to, you know, look for your favorite TV shows, see where they clocked in.
And I got to say, it's actually a nice reference for shows for me to, you know, visit that I have yet to see.
Oh, absolutely. These are all fantastic TV shows, especially number 7, The Twilight Zone.
Ah, your favorite.
Yes. Were there any shows on here that are like related to Seinfeld we should give shout outs to?
Why, yes, there is. Curb Your Enthusiasm, clocking in at number 19, right ahead of Ted Danson and Cheers and Company.
So Larry David finally got the one up on Ted Danson.
He's the big brother now.
Yeah, Curb at number 19. I think I'd agree with that. It's again, these lists are just so stupid because it's just one person's opinion. But
of course,
but as two hosts of a Seinfeld podcast, we obsess over it. Every week. It's great to see Seinfeld represented on this list, and it might not be number one, but
that's okay.
It is the number one comedy on this list, and that's what matters most to us.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. What's most interesting is this actor who plays the policeman. His name's Alan Havey.
I know him best from a great episode of Louie, where he gets this guy. I don't know if Alan Havey plays himself, but he's like married, lives in the suburbs, and he invites Louie out for dinner to set him up with a friend of theirs, played by Melissa Leo, and it's just a great episode. Did you ever finish the series?
No, I still haven't.
Because way back when, man, you were, the biggest Louie fan.
I cranked through them, yeah. And I fall off my routine at times, and then I can't get back into a show.
Well, talk about probably the comedian I've been most wrong about my entire life. Like, Louie never did it for me for years. And
I took you to see him, and you were like, I'll go. You were lukewarm about it, and I'm sure you're, like, kicking yourself.
I enjoyed it. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I wasn't, like, over the moon. And it was through his show on FX that I got it. And I think he is one of the most, brilliant minds of this generation. His show, Horace and Pete, if anyone has seen that, incredible, man. One of the best TV shows I've ever seen.
Do you want to see him again if he goes on his next tour?
Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely.
I saw the most recent one. I saw it up in Baltimore, and it was great.
Oh, cool.
And he came out, what I liked the most is he came out in a suit and tie. He's a little more professional, but then he still told jokes about going to the bathroom and masturbation. So he's classing it up, but still maintaining to his,
his roots.
Yeah.
Before we get into this week's episode, I thought we could go over some emails that we got over the past couple of days regarding last week's episode, The Sponge. First email here comes from listener Sarah Whiteford. She caught us failing to connect a quote last week to an earlier episode when, Jerry is kind of messing with George in the apartment when he realizes that he told Susan, who told Lena about how he met her. And he has that great quote, "Why'd you tell her?" Sarah thinks that is a callback to the season 3 episode, The Parking Space. And in that, if you remember, you got George and Mike Moffat trying to fit into the same parking space. And there's a moment at the end when Jerry heard from Kramer that Mike called him a phony. And when he finally confronts him about it, Mike kind of snaps and turns to Kramer and says, "Why'd you tell him?
He begged me.
He begged you." Seinfeld is now on iTunes. Now, I was wondering, is this news really? Hasn't Seinfeld always been on iTunes? But it hasn't. It's really only been on Hulu in terms of streaming platforms.
Correct. But now it's finally available for purchase digitally, so you can own the entire series on your computer.
I actually checked out some of the sample clips, and it looks fantastic. It's 1080p. It looks great, but the images are cropped. Some people will claim that the images aren't cropped, but they are. You're losing some at the top and bottom. You're getting a little bit on the left and right, but I don't know. I prefer having my Seinfeld in the traditional 4:3.
So if you do want that, you got to go get the DVDs, right?
Pretty much, yeah. So purists out there might want to stick with the DVDs, but
how convenient is it to have the digital on the go and you don't need a Hulu subscription?
That's what I'm saying. And the image quality, once again, is so damn good.
Yeah.
I compared the Buttershave to the file I have on my computer, and oh my God, mine looks terrible. So
really? Okay.
Yeah.
For the series as a whole, this was it when it first came out. I don't know if it has changed yet because it's been a week. It's $80 for the entire series, which is a great deal.
Yeah, $80, man. That's pretty much a steal, right? Do you remember how much we paid for our individual seasons?
Oh my goodness. Weren't they like $30 or $40 when they first came out?
Yeah.
We were we were right outside Best Buy, happy to give them our money. Matt, one of the things that is making me reluctant to purchase this digital version of Seinfeld is I can't tell if there are special features that come with it. Do you know?
I'm going to say no. Just episodes, I think, which, I don't know, that's sort of a strike against it because, man, as the years go by, those special features get more and more valuable because, I don't know, I feel like people don't care about special features as much in the streaming age. I still think, and, stay with me on this, that there should be some sort of Seinfeld channel or Seinfeld app.
Just episode running on a daily hourly basis.
No, that would be great. Yeah, like The Simpsons, but you could also have like special features, access cast interviews and I don't know, looks at like scripts and set designs, whatnot. It would just, I don't know. I would pay a monthly subscription for that.
Maybe that can be our next project.
Yeah, well, that's
our own channel.
A lot of licensing for that, but yeah, you never know. But anyways, I'll include a link for the iTunes store in our show notes if anyone wants to check out the page here. It's pretty cool. They have it all separated into individual seasons. Looks like season 1 and 2 is lumped together since there's a reduced number of episodes. And another cool thing, just wanted to point out, they have a character breakdown for Jerry, George, Elaine, and Kramer. And they have sort of like 4 recommended episodes for each character, which is kind of cool. And that could be a fun discussion in the future, like what are the top 4 George episodes, the top 4 Elaine episodes, and whatnot.
Ooh, how tough is that? Yeah.
But they have a pretty good list going here. Some pretty obvious ones, Little Kicks, The Sponge for Elaine, Merv Griffin Show, Chicken Roaster for Kramer. What do you got here? Bubble Boy, Parking Space for George.
There's some. I'm actually looking at it too. There's some great stills from each episode. So, like with the contest for George, it's got him sitting bedside by his mom in the hospital, and he's staring at the silhouette of the nurse and the patient getting sponge bath.
Yes. Jerry Seinfeld just struck a deal with Netflix to not only move all of the old episodes from Crackle to Netflix, but he has a deal to produce 24 new episodes. Starting in 2017. He's also doing 2 comedy specials as well, exclusively for Netflix.
All right.
I like it how Netflix is the streaming service everyone wants Seinfeld to be on.
Well, I think most of us are already subscribed to it. I know when Seinfeld rights were up in the air, I was pulling for Netflix, but I gladly picked up a Hulu subscription. Mm-hmm. But it's so accessible.
So we're not getting, Seinfeld per se, but the next best thing, man. Some original Seinfeld stand-up.
Oh, yeah.
Comedians in Cars, which I don't know if most of our listeners have even checked out, really. Crackle isn't really the best streaming service, but it's available.
Now they can. Did it say if you remember the lineup we announced 1 or 2 episodes ago for this upcoming season?
Yeah.
Is that coming to Netflix, or would that remain with Crackle?
Yeah, so all of the episodes on Crackle will move to Netflix in 2017. I think, the latest season will finish up its run in the coming weeks. And I don't know, like fourth quarter, you'll probably see the episodes wind up on Netflix. I don't really have all the specifics here, but just the idea alone that we're going to get more Comedians episodes on Netflix, just great news, I think, all around. I think most of our listeners are very happy with this.
Yeah, I am, for one.
I'm kind of thrilled with the idea of binging all of the Comedians episodes because I still haven't seen all of them, maybe like a handful here or there. There is a blurb about us. It's officially a blurb. You and I have been honored by Entertainment Weekly. We are featured in their February 24th, March 3rd double issue. Emma Watson, of course, being on the cover.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, okay.
She's on the cover.
That's a deep pull. Good.
Thank you. Yeah, we are part of popular culture now. We've broken through, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I got to quote Louis Maxstone Graham here. This truly is a Scarsdale surprise.
Yes, we were delighted to see our podcast rather rubbing elbows with Matt Gorley's fantastic podcast. I was there too. Believe it or not, there's plenty to say about a show about nothing. The hosts, too charming. Can you believe that? Mm-hmm. Diehard fans of the hit sitcom tackle each of the series' 180 episodes, one by one at length. Recommended episode, The Subway.
Oh, The Subway. Do you remember what we talked about on The Subway?
I don't remember what we talked about last week. So
Same here.
That's the fun little peek behind podcasting is we say a lot of things on the show, and just, as soon as I stop recording, I forgot everything. So, people will quote stuff, reference stuff in person, and I'm like, did we say that? I remember I was very excited to find out that the guy who plays the undercover cop, the blind violinist, he was in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. I was like, oh, that's that guy. Okay. The new season of Comedians in Cars. You've got Norm Macdonald, which
cool.
I immediately went to with the Wikipedia page because I'm like, I know Norm has been on another episode, and he hasn't. First time.
No, yeah.
You've got Cedric the Entertainer, Lewis Black, Bob Einstein.
He's been on.
Yes, he is the first guest ever to come back, to double dip, as it were.
I was going to say that had you not said it. Thank you.
He was in season 1, so that was a ways back. But this does set precedents. We can have Larry on again, or Michael, or the Seinfeld cast. It's okay
What he
now.
needs to do is get a Seinfeld van and put all 4 Michael Richards, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Jason Alexander, and Larry in the back while he drives. That's what I want to see happen.
Absolutely. I bet that will happen someday, man. And you can take credit for it.
That would have to be the series finale, I would think. Whenever he's going to stop doing it, that's who he puts in there.
And a legend in the stand-up world. Like
Let's
comedy gold here. We have Christoph Waltz. Such an odd pick, right?
When I read that, my first thought was Christopher Mintz-Plasse McLovin.
Oh.
That's what I thought it was.
Because of the Chris and the Z?
Oh, because of the waltz? Yeah. But yes, it is Christoph Waltz.
Yeah, very odd. I mean, he's a very interesting guy, as you can tell from the roles he takes and just in interviews. Hey, well, kind of a spoiler, but he's the villain in Bond, the new
Yes.
Bond movie.
Has he done a comedy, though?
He does like quirky commercials. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll learn that he has some sort of background in stand-up, or he's just a funny guy.
We're going to be discussing the Seinfeld Hulu streaming news that broke last night, April 28th. I think now, Vinny, it's been confirmed, April 29th, that this is a deal. This is actually happening.
The deal. It's happened. Seinfeld has found a home on streaming media.
The main reason we're doing a special episode like this is we recorded our discussion of The Watch last night, and
True.
this news broke like right after we finished recording.
You hit the stop button, boom, it's released.
Yes. So we figured, why not have a special discussion devoted to this? This is pretty big, man. We've been talking about this for a couple of months now, going back to, it was Jerry's AMA, right?
Yep, Reddit. He said there were negotiations for streaming. It was in the works. Here we are.
Netflix was considering it for a while. It was too high a price tag.
Yep. They decided to go with Friends. They invested their money in Friends.
Instead.
Amazon was also a candidate, and Hulu.
And Hulu. But it looks like Hulu is the buyer. They paid, it varies, but I'm hearing between $7,000 per episode.
700,000.
Oh, 700,000, sorry, and $1 million per episode.
80 million people died.
1,000.
80,000.
And we have a lot of questions from our listeners and comments, a lot of concerns actually too, that I want to get to. But let's just go over the basic facts that we know, at least at this point. This show is going to be released in June. It's June. June. All right.
June.
We don't have a specific date yet, but I'm sure in time they'll release all of this. Sounds like it will be a huge campaign for Hulu to get people to know about this, get new subscribers. Are you a Hulu subscriber, I should ask?
Not anymore. I used to be.
Really? What made you leave?
I wasn't using it for what was offered. I like to revisit popular movies and TV shows versus watch new ones. So Netflix, for my money, was a better fit for me.
Right. Now, Hulu does have some old shows or shows that are now in syndication, but I feel like it primarily focuses on current TV shows, almost like a streaming DVR service.
Yeah, if you missed a episode of a current season that's on TV right now, you can catch it on Hulu, correct?
Right. But they don't have deals with all of the networks. They mainly feature with NBC, ABC, CBS, Fox. I think they have a deal with Comedy Central, maybe a few FX shows. But part of the deal, when it was announced today on the 29th of April, they got a deal with AMC networks.
Correct. So it's a exclusivity with AMC for future programming. So the new Walking Dead spinoff will be exclusive to Hulu. Is that correct?
I think so, yeah. They're not getting... I don't think they're getting Better Call Saul or existing shows on AMC right now. It's for the new series.
Okay.
But yeah, Hulu, I mean, I've been a subscriber for about 2 years now, and I really like it. I go between Netflix, Hulu, Amazon sometimes. Just, if stuff isn't on Netflix or Hulu, I'll go to Amazon.
It's there.
But for someone who canceled their cable subscription a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away,
Okay.
It's great. I like watching The Daily Show, and that's easy to get to on Hulu. And there's God, I'm just so obsessed with so many ongoing TV shows right now. It's just really convenient if you don't like a DVR. If you don't have the time to watch it live, it's great. But the fact that Hulu picked up a show that's been off the air for 16 years, that's just an interesting move. Obviously, it's because of the weight Seinfeld carries as a pop culture show. It's almost as popular as ever. I wonder how Hulu is going to present this show. The few canceled old shows they have on there, I noticed that they don't have the best quality. They look a little cropped. I wonder what they're going to do for Seinfeld.
This could be a turning point for them. If this goes well for them and they get a lot of subscribers, perhaps they'd want to invest and handle with care. And I think that might give Netflix and Amazon a run for their money in terms of streaming old content.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Well, we're kind of flying by the seat of our vintage pants here. So why don't we just jump into some questions that we got from our listeners on Twitter and Facebook, and hopefully we'll get to them all by the time we finish recording. But let's go to Twitter first, since I posted this last night. We got a few questions from our listener, good old Trash Boat, Trash Boat on
Trash
on
Boat.
Twitter. He's wondering what the deal is with Crackle. He points out it's Sony run. They already are airing free episodes of Seinfeld and Comedians in Cars. Why aren't they the ones that are streaming the whole series?
That would have been the ultimate Seinfeld hub. Any Seinfeld related show, you could have went there. That would have been a wonderful way for them to get their foot in and secure a stronghold as one of the competitors.
Yeah, I can't really think of a good analogy here, but I wonder, Sony probably is making more money by selling to Hulu than they would be spending the money to air it on their own website. I mean, we don't have the numbers in front of us, but when you compare Crackle to Hulu, Crackle is pretty small potatoes. That's my only justification. But it's a shame, really. It would be nice if Crackle were sort of that home base for everything Seinfeld. Also, Trashboat was asking if we are going to get Hulu subscriptions, if we don't already have them, or are we going to stick with the DVDs? He's not sure if he's going to get Hulu. So what do you think, Vinny? You mentioned you don't have Hulu. I do. We both own the DVDs. Where are you going with this series streaming now?
I don't see it happening.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with my DVDs. I was pretty peeved when Netflix bowed out because I was really hoping Netflix would have snatched them up. But I don't commercials. I don't want to watch Seinfeld with commercials. So I'll be happy to change discs every 5 episodes. I'm happy to do that. It's exercise.
Speaking of commercials, that seems to be the biggest concern with not just Seinfeld on Hulu, but just Hulu in general. People don't like the commercials. That's the main reason why people have, I think, left the service. Commercials don't bother me so much, but when you see the same commercial over and over, that's what drives me crazy. There's this Mountain Dew Kickstart commercial that airs, I think, during every show I watch, and it literally drives me insane.
Have you bought any of those products, by the way?
Let's see. We've got Trevor, I think it's Milas on Twitter. He was wondering if Hulu will run the episodes in the original format or pull a TBS and alter them.
Oh, God.
So,
that would be streaming suicide, I would imagine, if you try to pull that crap.
Right. We're talking... Well, TBS is guilty, of course, of lopping off the top and the bottom to make it more widescreen. But I think they're also guilty of lopping off screen on the side, too.
Oh, good Lord.
Just to cut down on that bandwidth, I would assume. I have to admit, though, TBS, though, I've never seen a Seinfeld episode look that good before in terms of the quality of image.
It's crispy crisp.
Yeah.
The episodes. I would give him that.
So let's hope that, Hulu won't do this. I think that would be insane. Even with everyone's widescreen TV, maybe you'll have an option to watch it widescreen or standard. But I would assume that the image quality will be stellar.
I just hope they listen to the people. There's a lot of opinions out there, and it seems to be a consensus of what people want. So I hope they take heed.
No, they should really, I think, listen to what fans of Seinfeld want, and really people like yourself who have left Hulu before, why they left Hulu and how they can hopefully change that in the future. Bill Illuminati on Twitter asked a similar question. Are they going to maintain the original speed? That was another thing TBS does, is they speed up their broadcasts.
I think Bill's sticking it to TBS.
Yeah, I think so. Again, I would be shocked, but with streaming, I mean, that gets expensive. And watching a few programs on Netflix, I don't have proof of this right now, but I have watched movies where they do crop the image just a little bit. And I don't know why they do that, other than to save money on the the streaming cost. But it just seems like such a shame when people notice it and they're annoyed by it.
You're called out.
Yeah. So getting to some questions on Facebook. Last night when I posted the article, a lot of people chimed in with their thoughts on the matter. Most of them are mixed to negative, unfortunately, because again, this is such a huge deal. You think everyone would be celebrating fireworks, making out on blankets, but it's
spiking volleyball.
Yeah, but it's kind of, I don't know. I think people are just a little like yourself, Vinny, a little bummed this didn't wind up.
It's a little bittersweet.
Yeah, it didn't wind up on an alternate streaming service. Mike Norden wonders if it will be commercial free, and that's why he gave up on Hulu. So a very common complaint. I would assume no, unless this is unprecedented. I believe there'll be commercials.
Yeah,
short commercials. Their commercials range from about 30 seconds, I think, to a minute. But yeah, I don't see why they would make an exception with a show, especially as popular Seinfeld, and for a show that had such a huge price tag.
Yeah.
Zach Gooch on Facebook also chimed in about the commercials. He's not a fan. He shouldn't have to, watch ads if he's paying money for a service, which I
agree wholeheartedly.
Most people would agree. He does hope they use the newer widescreen versions, as we mentioned, from TBS. Would you prefer that? Would you want to lose some image at the top and bottom?
I don't know, because the times I have seen the new updated versions on TBS, it's so in your face. It's these really extreme close-ups, and I kind of, it's a show I grew up watching in 4:3, and I kind of like it that way,
Yeah, I think the creator of The Wire had to go back to his original masters, the dailies of his show, and literally pull the frame out because he didn't want to lop off the top and the bottom for widescreen on Amazon. And I hate saying this, it really disrupts, I think, the original show. Whenever you have to crop, or in the case with The Wire, you have to pull out because you're either losing image or you're adding things to the frame that weren't ever intended to be there.
Right.
Yeah, I hope they stick with the standard, I think it's 4:3 ratio. Brian Nesbitt also chimes in about the commercials, so another person who's not a fan. Alan Titus is asking, when does this happen? Again, we said June, but no specific date as of yet. Justine Jazerski is probably one of the few people that left a positive comment on Facebook. She thinks it's amazing. She can't wait to relive the show. And I think I'm in her camp too, only because I have Hulu. I'm going to keep it for at least another 2 months. So I want to at least check out Seinfeld and see how they present it.
Yeah, give us your expert opinion when it comes out.
For sure. Daniel Curiel also jumps in to say how awesome it is that he can see it this way now. He's been watching most seasons on his phone. I think we've talked about that before. Maybe some people are syndication fans, or some people are bootleg fans, or DVD fans for that matter.
Yeah, I was talking to my buddy at the gym who's kind of a casual fan, and he knows how obsessed I am with it. He is a syndication watcher, and I was like, what do you think about the streaming deal? Because he does have Hulu, and he said, I'll watch it. If I'm changing the channel, it's on. I won't change the channel. So he'll just hop in, watch one, and then be out.
Yes.
But he's not gonna, this doesn't excite him.
Sure. Yeah. It's funny. I was looking just at like trending news, and the Seinfeld Hulu deal wasn't necessarily trending most news outlets, but this to me is huge. You know what I mean? Like when you're so obsessed with Seinfeld, it's like, oh my God.
Well, this is a Seinfeld podcast.
That's true. Minor Paredes jumps in just saying, finally, which I like. It feels like we've been waiting for a long time for this. For a while, we were talking about Blu-ray. And
I guess they're going to completely pass that.
It seems like it. I feel like Blu-ray never really got the mileage they thought it would have with streaming. But that kind of makes me think, though, they were preparing the episodes for Blu-ray quality-wise, and now they're going to see how they can take that quality and transfer it to Hulu.
Okay.
I would assume.
When did the DVDs come out originally? 2004?
Yeah, and I think they wrapped up around 2007, 2008.
Okay. So 11 years later, we get streaming.
Mm-hmm. Daniel Wynn jumps in just saying, I guess I have to get Hulu. So he's already surrendered to Hulu.
He's on board.
Yeah, he sure is. Matthew Cantwell adds that he really wishes it could have been on Netflix, which I think seems to be sort of that consensus. If you're not saying, damn it, Hulu, the commercials, you're adding, I wish it had been on Netflix instead. Our good friend of the show, Abby Q, said that he owns all the seasons on DVD and he'll cherish them. And he's happy about the syndication, but really ultimately people should be, buying the seasons here. Like the DVDs are the best way to spend your money.
I agree. Yeah.
I mean, the special features alone, I think, are worth the price tag.
Oh, yeah. Especially now.
And on a similar note, Matthew Edwards is asking, DVD episodes or syndication. I think ultimately you can enjoy both. It just boils down to, how good is the presentation going to be on Hulu?
Yeah.
Versus the DVDs. It would be really interesting too if they were able to add special features to the episodes.
That would make things a lot more competitive, I think.
Mm-hmm. So you could click an episode for, the pony remark and, listen to some commentary. Listen to, Larry David talk about writing the episode.
Mm-hmm. Can you imagine if this included updated special features or, new commentary by LD and Jerome?
Yeah, that would be huge. I mean, to the point, it's like, we'll just buy the Seinfeld package. You know what I mean? Like on, I don't know, iTunes or Amazon. Mm-hmm. AJ Sherman asks about the quality. Again, we're not sure at this point. We're just going to have to wait and see. Jeffrey Henriksen asks if they'll be released all at once or a season at a time, which I didn't really think about, but I don't think Hulu would do something like that.
Well, this is unprecedented for Hulu, right?
What do you mean?
To gain such a show, such a critically acclaimed show?
Yeah, I think this is a big get, and maybe the last syndicated show really to, get picked up by a streaming service.
They could milk it and release it periodically, or, again, if bingeable is what's in now, so you would think you release all 9 at once.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I would imagine Hulu would just release it all, and it'll be a huge day for them. Word around the water cooler is that Curb Your Enthusiasm will be returning for a 9th season at some point. This is on Larry David's mind. It's on HBO's mind. They're talking about it. The wheels are in motion.
This is good. This is very good.
Very good. Since we started this podcast back in the summer of 2014, I feel like there were even articles like this out there then. Now it seems like with Fish in the Dark over, that Larry David has nothing else to do but Curb Your Enthusiasm if he chooses to do something in TV. Now the word is coming from Michael Lombardo, who is the HBO president, and at a Fish in the Dark performance, apparently Larry David showed him his notebook for season 9, saying this is the next season. So it's funny. A lot of people are like, is it going to happen? I think it was always going to happen. It's just a matter of when.
Well, I'm also thinking Jeff Schaffer, who is an executive producer and writer on Curb, and who's also the creator and writer on The League, who also wrote on Seinfeld. Man, that's a rap sheet. He was on, was it the Spike? Whose show was he on?
Oh,
but he was talking that he had dinner with Larry, and they talked about it. And there's more talk about it coming out. And there was even a reference to a possible Curb Your Enthusiasm movie. He wanted to do
Right.
a season as well as a movie that I don't know if they coincided, but a Curb-esque, if not a Curb movie.
That's the latest rumor coming out that I had never heard before, the idea of a movie. And that always seems to be like the thing. They talked about that with 24 for a while. Even Scott Patterson mentioned that about Gilmore Girls. So, I was just looking at the past 8 seasons of Curb Your Enthusiasm and what years they came out. So for the first 3 seasons, it was 2000, 2001, 2002. And then the season started to space out a little bit. You had season 4 in 2004, 5 and 5, then 6 in 2007. Then you took 2 years off, season 7 in 2009, and then season 8 in 2011. So you could see the spacing, between the books. But now it's been almost 5 years since season 8 premiered.
Well, the nice thing is that Larry David has given us content since 2011 with Fish in the Dark.
True.
But he's one of the few people, if not the only person, who has carte blanche with HBO. That he has license to just, Larry, come back whenever you want and do a season. We'd love to have you. Take as much time as you need.
That was sort of the vibe we had, I feel like, after season 5, because, no spoilers, but if there was ever going to be a finale for Curb, it would have been season 5.
When he
Yeah, well, spoilers.
Sorry.
But it seems like every season after that was sort of like a little extra, and that it started that question: is he going to come back for another? Is he going to come back? Even Jeff Garlin used to have the joke, he's like 51% certain that Larry will be coming back.
And we should also point out, because of Larry's experience with the Seinfeld finale, he's totally averse to writing finales and finite endings. So if you notice, all of these seasons now, they wrap up nicely, but there's never a definite pin put in the story of Curb. He always leaves it kind of open in that, we'll be back for another season.
Absolutely.
Which is nice for us as fans.
Yeah. And, speaking of Seinfeld, he's really good at having those storylines that arc throughout the entire season.
Love those.
Yeah. Not really present in the early seasons, but later on you have like a producer's arc, you have an adoption arc, you have the
Lewis
Blacks.
needs a kidney arc.
Yeah, Lewis needs a kidney. Yeah, they just keep going. So I think it's just a matter of, I'm sure he has that idea in mind. Someone threw it out there. It might have been on Reddit, which was kind of a cool idea, that what if season 9 is about Larry making a movie, and then the movie that comes out is the movie?
Oh, that would be...
So he has the experience with Sour Grapes, and he also made Clear History with HBO.
Yeah, that's a really good movie, by the way.
Oh, it's good?
Yeah.
So he made that after season 8, but before Fish in the Dark. So... he has a lot of experience in these different mediums. I think that could potentially be, story arc, but who knows? Always seems appropriate to bring up Curb Your Enthusiasm on this podcast. I know we focus mainly on Seinfeld, but...
it's related to the universe. We got to do it.
You were telling me that you were watching some Curb just before we were recording, right?
Yep. I got through my whole run of Seinfeld, my backwards run. And now I moved on to Curb, forward run. And I'm on season 7. And now I'm at the point where, they switched from the 4:3 to shooting in full HD, 16:9, right?
CinemaScope. This is known as the Seinfeld season.
Yes. How fitting.
Yes. Larry David, once again, killing it on SNL. This past week, he returned as Bernie Sanders. In the cold open, it was the MSNBC, what do they call it? It's not the town hall. It's like this really weird sit down, like chat. That
right. Rachel Maddow was the one hosting, correct?
No, it wasn't Rachel. It was someone on SNL playing her.
She was playing Rachel Maddow.
Yeah. I actually thought it was the real Rachel Maddow at first. It was dead on. But anyways, all of the, you have your Hillary Clintons, your Lincoln Chafee. Well, I think actually Lincoln Chafee dropped out, but Larry David returned as Bernie Sanders, and he was great. It really was following the success of his first appearance.
Oh, yeah.
Which just blew up. I mean, that was totally unexpected, caught everyone by surprise.
Well, to get this bit of a recluse to come out and actually, reprise this role that he just killed the first time, it's really reminiscent of Tina Fey kind of coming back on SNL to do Sarah Palin, because it was so popular and she did such a great job, and she looks just like the actual person, as does Larry David with Bernie Sanders.
Right.
So,
I mean, they're I don't know if they're born in the same year, but they're around the same age. They're both Jewish, from Brooklyn. Come on. I mean,
Somebody said that I saw an article. Larry David's been prepping for this role his whole life, and Curb is just him getting ready to play Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, interesting theory. I gotta say though, this cold open wasn't nearly as good as the debate. I just love that proper one where you have all like you had Alec Baldwin up there. It went overlooked, I think, by most people, but I love the guy who plays Lincoln Chafee. Very funny, but all about Larry, man. He's great. I wonder how far they're going to carry this. I know SNL really benefits from the election season because it's just ripe for parody.
Ripe.
So I assume this will keep going as long as Bernie Sanders is in the running and he's still current, topical. It didn't just end with that cold open. You didn't see the cold open. I did. You saw the what do you call it? The monologue with Donald Trump as host.
Did.
And Larry David shows up again, right?
Yep, Trump came out, and then he had two other Trumps, to Trump to his left, a Trump to his right. We had Daryl Hammond as well as what's his name? Killam? I forget it.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking
about? He's married to Kobe Smothers.
Yeah, what's his name?
Colby or whatever it is.
Oh,
God. Move on.
we have derailed.
Keep
that
going.
guy.
Yeah.
The other guy, but Trump's doing his thing, the other Trump's doing their thing, and then all of a sudden off camera you hear, "You're a racist," and Trump makes this face like, "Oh, here we go," and sure enough, they cut off screen, and it's Larry David, and he's in civilian clothes, and he's like, "That's right, I called you a racist. This group told me if I call you a racist, they'll give me $5,000. So I'm here." He did his kind of casual Larry thing.
That was it.
And Trump responded, "Hey, that's a good business opportunity." So he took it in stride, and it was a good. I think some people thought, "Is this real?" But it was definitely a staged moment.
Well, I did read that there were people outside protesting having Trump on because of his comments and just all the racist remarks he's made over the past couple of months. I was actually shocked that he was hosting the show. I mean, shocked on one hand, not surprised on the other. But I was even more surprised that Larry David showed up because I'm not an SNL watcher and I love waking up on Sunday. Now it's gone. It's happened twice. And you see those tweets or messages from people like, "Oh my God, Larry David, SNL."
People are writing on the seincast page, which is how I'm finding out. Larry's been on SNL again, you know, so it's nice.
It's great. I really hope they keep it going as long as possible. I assume if Bernie Sanders were to be the presidential nomination or the Democratic nomination, I doubt he'll be playing it for the long haul, but I'm enjoying it as much as I can right now, for sure. I look back to her like early 2000 days. What was it? Watching Ellie and
New Adventures of Old Christine.
But when that show came out, I remember we were in college, and that was very exciting because there was something known as the Seinfeld curse, where none of the supporting cast members, Jason, Michael, and Julia, could get any real successful project off the ground. Successful meaning, like not nearly as big a hit as Seinfeld, but something that lasted more than 1 or 2 seasons.
Exactly.
And that show really, I think, helped Julia kind of break that curse, or if there was even a curse to begin with,
Agreed.